What's up, everybody? I'm TJ.
And I'm Kelsey, and we are
the Nashville Wine Duo.
Shorten it a little,
J31, Junction 31.
That's it.
We're here.
Oh my gosh, we're here.
It's beer time.
Yes.
Another podcast, another week.
I know.
With Beer 30.
Beer 30. Yeah, and we're back where all the brewing happens at Curio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Franklin, Tennessee.
Franklin.
Yeah.
Yes.
37064 right here in town.
See? We got Matt. He is with, you are Junction 31.
That's me, yeah.
An awesome local brewery.
Yes.
Can we say brewery or brewer? What are you?
Yeah,
what do you classify? What do you classify yourself as?
I mean, I think we're a beer company.
A beer company.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we make beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
We brew through a production partner right now, which is Curio, which we're sitting in the back room of. But it's about making great local beer for our local community. That's what we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So where do you live around town?
So I live right in town, right off Main Street.
Oh, so you're a Franklin person.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right off. Yeah. But so mom and dad have been in town for almost 20 years, and love it here.
Very cool.
Yeah. So they've been here. I was in Atlanta for 10 years working in advertising, doing branding and stuff.
Oh, dude. How was that?
Making liquor companies. And I did a lot of work with Sweetwater Brewing Company down there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it was cool to see the growth of that company and in that city, just what they did for the Atlanta local community and just the way that they grew was just really smart from just a branding perspective,
Yeah, totally.
Just a couple of California guys. So their whole story is just interesting and fascinating and inspiring to me. They were like California fraternity brothers brewing out of their dorm and saw a market opportunity in Atlanta and moved to Atlanta and started Sweetwater Brewing Company and grew it into a billion-dollar business.
Yeah,
they became Atlanta's beer. They were on Delta flights. That was what was really smart about what they did was jumped into that and then became a national brand from that perspective. So it was fun to be a part of. And then we started a couple of liquor. What's cool about what's happening in the beverage space to me is just we saw the explosion of craft beer, kind of probably maybe early 2000s, and it was they were taking on the Budweisers and it was this explosion. Everybody wanted to drink local beer, which was great because you travel around, the States and you'd go drink your local beer. And we just saw the explosion of that market and they really seized a lot of that space from the big guys. And we had to kind of consumers had to rethink about hey, consumers care about local product and great tasting beer.
Yeah, totally.
The perception kind of changed from, this is just cold fizzy liquid that refreshes me to I want to drink something that tastes good too and has complex flavor, has variety. So then the craft beer thing came really, and I think it was West Coast kind of led, we saw a lot of craft beer come from that culture. You go out west and there's tons of craft beer. And I'm originally from Texas, but grew up in the mountains of Colorado, and even you go over there now, and every little mountain town you go through, there's tons of breweries everywhere.
Yeah.
It's great.
So is that kind of where your love for beer started, working with Sweetwater and advertisement and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been so I went to business school in Texas, but I was in the creative side of it, and then went to ad school in Atlanta. So I have a lot of experience telling branding stories, telling brand stories, starting brands, doing ads for, big commercial brands like Coca-Cola, Chick-fil-A, from a commercials perspective. But it's all just telling a unique perspective, a unique story. But I like it when it's localized, right? Like that's always super impactful. Or, you know, a brand that stands for something that you care about. It's always, so I've always like wanted an opportunity to have something that I owned and could kind of champion and create a brand about something that I stood for and cared about. And what better thing for me than beer? Because I mean, beer is a part of just, you know, my story. That's like, I've just always loved the product. Like, even though I have more experience branding liquor, so I had the opportunity when I was in Atlanta to start a couple liquor brands down there. One of which, American Spirit Works. At the time, it was just a clear whiskey that they were putting out, but it's become a big, cool product that's now all over the Southeast. I think they have 2 or 3 tasting rooms and distilleries around the Atlanta market, which has been fun to see. But beer is just, it's easier, you know, and I've had to kind of like, you know, whiskey and me sometimes need to take a break, but beer is always like, beer's always that steady, like, just friend, you know. It's just like, beer is, it's just social. I think there's a community aspect to beer that's really kind of cool. It feels just like very shareable, you know, like you're just sitting around, you're sitting out on the porch, you're sitting around a table like we're sitting at, just sharing a beer. So that's kind of like what I've tried to infuse into our brand story. Like, we only put our product in 750 milliliter bottles right now, and it's because it's like, it's shareable. Like, I want it to be something that you experience with somebody, or like you uncork it, you pass it around, you pour a little bit. So it's kind of more European.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept.
Yeah, well, I think it fits our culture, our Franklin, kind of just what we stand for as a community of Franklin. You know, you just think about our cool little town.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I love that. So tell us, like, exactly how you started your company. Yeah, like, when all this took place, and like what made you like officially just be like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So, gosh, I mean, there's been so many facets of it that it's like, because I've been in town for like 6 years. I came up from Atlanta. I told you a little bit about my experience down there working with brands. And then I came up and I was working for an in-house healthcare company. And I just like saw a cool market opportunity, like kind of just based on my experience of having worked on Sweetwater. I was just like, man, like, we have such cool beer variety in Nashville. We've got like, there's tons of beer being made up there. Like, we know all the great, you know, the Yazoo and the, you know, all these, I think there's like 16 to 20.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of beer being made up there. And it was like, but what about my town? Because like Franklin, I feel like is a different culture. It's a different, so it's just like a concept in the back of my head. Like, Franklin would be a cool community to have like a beer, like just that kind of represents that culture, that community. And I just always thought that. And like, because mom and dad have been here for so long, I was just like, that's where I would want to put a brand and so we just started looking for production partners, like I said, and I stumbled upon this place probably 5 years ago and just developed a relationship with the owner here. And then, you know, life got in the way, business kind of changed, business model kind of changed. And then, you know, just kept working things out. But I always had this concept in the back of my mind. And I was like, we need to go into production. Like, we can't just have this sitting on the concept shelf. Like, this is something like I've developed ideas for. Like, we have to like bring this into reality, you know? So I just called Alex, my production partner. I was like, dude, this is my idea. Like, let's start small and let's just see what the demand brings and let's grow it organically. Like, let's just start making beer. Like, just based on, you know, people that I've talked to, I feel like there's demand. I feel like the community would be receptive to this kind of concept, and let's see what's out there. And he's like, let's do it. So, I mean, I was homebrewing this recipe, like I said, in my west side apartment. We had a condo on the west side of Nashville over by Edwin Warner Park. My wife is bless her heart. She's a ICU nurse.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, it was like she was working on the COVID unit, and I was like just getting heavy into just making beer. And I was like brewing beer at the condo, and she'd come home from 12.
Be like, here you go, baby. Here's a beer.
It was just like the whole place just smelled like hops.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Just great. And she's just like, what are you doing? Like, this is awful. So that's kind of where it all began. And then I just started making 5-gallon batches. I was literally fermenting beer in our linen closet there at the condo, and just kind of refining this recipe of and for me it was like the concept of a farmhouse ale was really just rose to the top as far as the kind of variety that I just feel like so it's a Saison. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the different beer styles or not, but so a Saison is basically, it's kind of just an old Belgian style ale that was really just kind of a seasonal beer that they would, brew up in the wintertime to have for the spring and the summer. So it was just kind of your local farmhouse variety beer. But yeah, that was really kind of, and then here's the bottle here.
Yeah, it's super cool. You said you wanted to pop it open. We can try it, right?
Yeah.
You want to do it now? Yeah.
So was that always in your mind of I want to start out with if I could do a beer, it's a Saison.
It's a Saison.
That's my first go-to one that I want to try and conquer.
It wasn't always just right to, hey, I'm going to do a Saison. I tried obviously just a plethora of varieties of different beers and lagers, and I love beer, and it's just cool to me that you can distinctly taste the different varieties of them. But for me, it was it's an approachable ale.
So
right?
So not to interrupt you, but you're opening this thing like a wine bottle.
Yeah. So this
which is great. I've never seen this happen.
I haven't either.
Yeah. So this is actually part of it. It's part of kind of the brand experience.
That's really cool.
And you have that.
Yeah.
That is an experience.
So
very cool.
for you guys.
That's awesome.
Oh, look at the color. It's so pretty.
It's a pretty color.
Thank you. Here you go.
And it's a little stronger, so it's at around 7% ABV, but it kind of ranges per batch.
So this was the original. This is what he was planning in the linen closet, and now it is this. Cheers!
Cheers! Yeah. So this was up to 10 barrels. So we just did 10 barrels.
Oh my god, this is delicious.
Thank you.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, no offense to whatever I was drinking before, but this is better. Oh my gosh, this is really good.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
I love this. But you said it's like a spring and summer vibe. I drink this all year long. Mm.
That's what we've heard. And there's
it's even got a Christmassy vibe too.
There's some spices.
It's almost like a cinnamon,
yeah.
What's that one thing when people were talking about that wine that we were drinking? They said it had that. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Baking spices. Baking spices.
So there's a spice in it. It's called grains of paradise. It's like an African spice. They call it an alligator spice or something. But
this is delicious.
yeah, it gives it a little peppery flavor.
Wow.
Yeah, this is really.
And then there's
well done.
there's ginger in it, so it gives it a little bit of ginger.
Yeah, it's super refreshing at the same time.
Yeah, it's dry,
Mm-hmm.
You think Taylor Swift would like this?
I hope she would. I hope she'd try it.
We'll have to talk about that
Just
a little later. But he was telling us
shout-out.
before we got on here that he just went to a Taylor Swift concert with your daughter, right?
And we did.
Yeah. We'll get into it. But so I want to know, how much production of this are you making?
So we just did, like I said, we just did 10 barrels. So there's about 30 gallons a barrel.
30 gallons a barrel.
Yeah,
okay.
we just did 10 of them.
And
So
where people can only find this here?
Yeah, so we're starting, like I said, we're starting organically. We're starting super local. We're just kind of growing it as we go. prior to this, we've been brewing in the 1-barrel system, just super small batch. We were yielding like 100, just over 100 of these 750 bottles. So super limited run, kind of perfecting the recipe and just tweaking it and whatnot. So I'd say we just kind of brewed our first commercial batch.
Congratulations.
Getting on the market.
Yeah.
Just got on the market, like just for the 4th, have like very limited vendors, just really localized Franklin. We're just really trying to hyper local.
Yeah.
We really want to kind
Let
of
it slowly grow.
Exactly.
So where can they find it? Where can they get their hands on a?
Just here. Right?
Yeah. So we have some really exciting vendors that we're pumped to be at. We're like I said, we're just brand new to the market. Like we literally, it's kind of like probably we just launched. Like I said, like we just finished our batch. We bottled 2 weekends ago, but right now, as far as bars and restaurants, you can find us at Skylight Bar, which is
The new Franklin. Yeah.
the new bar.
Oh, so cool.
Over there at the factory,
Yep.
which is super cool. So if you haven't gone in there, go check it out because it looks, the renovations over there look super cool, and you should go have a drink and drink some Junction 31. Order a big bottle of beer for me and go sit at the bar.
Wow.
So that's an exciting partner for us. Culacino.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like our favorite Italian place in town. We go there on the reg with the fam. So cool. You know, they have a great patio over there. So we thought that'd be cool for the culture over there. Just go out over, crack a beer on the patio.
Yes.
Shareable kind of vibe. And then Hop House has been a great partner for us. We're the first on tap there. They've been carrying us since the very beginning. So that's like a cool little beer house. I don't know, right
We've
there in the
been
corner.
there.
Yep, we've been there.
So you get a lot of Franklin love.
Yeah, so it's not just here. It's
That's
all over.
good.
Little Franklin love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're just kind of starting. I mean, we literally, and then as far as package stores, like West Side, like we're in at West Haven over there, and they've been a cool partner for us as far as package stores. They're the only ones carrying us right now, but we literally just launched. We're just trying to kind of see how the market receives it and see how we sell, but it's been really positive. Like it's been super exciting for us. I feel like it's a really, approachable beer.
It's so approachable. And it's very again, like I was just thinking as I was drinking it, like the versatility of it. Like I love the ginger aspect. Like I can picture myself in like so many different ways. Like I can see myself like having this with seafood, like totally. Like I like with that ginger, I just could like some like a shrimp dish or something like that. And then like in the summer, and then I'm like, oh, I can also picture myself in the fall, like by a fire, and then I can see myself like taking a walk with you in the snow and like drinking this and like it's
round.
like it's heartwarming and like there's just so much like flavor packed in this. And I don't know, maybe you can give more to this because I don't know a ton about beer, but like, you know, sometimes when you will have certain beers and like they'll kind of like, I don't know, maybe they'll finish very flat. So this finish is like very like bold still. Like the finish on it is like, oh, I'm still getting the ginger and I'm still getting the beer and I'm not getting this like flat dead note when I'm finished with it. And I love that aspect of it. So
no, I agree. I mean, there's depth to it. Like I think you can really taste the depth there, but it's like a lot of beers that have depth. It's like things that it's too much hops or it's off-putting. Like you really can kind of go through the character of the different. You can kind of pick up on the malts of the German, like the Belgian grains. Like you can really taste that maltiness, and then it evens out with kind of like that ginger refresh. But it's dry. I mean, it finishes dry.
It does,
and then I think it drinks really like. There's a lot of carb in it, and it you know like we like to have it like champagne forward, like. You know, you get some of that. There's a little pineapple, a little bit of fruit there, I find too. So, like, I think there's a nice complexity, a nice depth to it that I think works well with a lot of food pairings. And that's why I think, like, we're really excited about our vendors and just kind of, like, them being like-minded as far as, like, we really care about food. We care about flavor. We want to find flavors that match what it is that we're doing from a brand. So... but it's different, you know, like that's what I like about Farmhouse Ale is like, it's a different beer blend, right? Like it's not another IPA. Like we've saturated the market, and don't get me wrong. Like there are certain IPAs that I love, like Bell's Two Hearted IPA, and
Yeah.
like Sweetwater Brewing Company had a great.
Yeah.
IPA.
I'm from Michigan and I lived in Colorado.
Did you?
So,
That's right.
yeah.
I heard that.
Yes,
I did.
yes.
I heard that you lived in Colorado. That's cool. Yeah. So I mean, there's room for it in the market, and that's what excites me. Is like just new beer variety, new flavors. So, and I think it represents our culture. Like, so it really comes from the culture of like Belgian and French countrysides. Like this was their house farm beer. Like they beered this for their estate, for their family and their farm workers to just drink and to share with their friends and families there on the farm. Like that was what it originated from. And they would use their, local spices and gingers and things like that. And so that to me fits with the Franklin culture. Like that's what it is we're about. Like we're about our community, and we have a very farm friendly community, like since I've lived here. The first 6 months that I lived here, I rented a place out in Leaper's Fork that I was like right in town. And everybody went to Puckett's on Saturday morning and had like a breakfast biscuit, and you sat up there with the old timers and talked about your tractor problems. And it's like, that's like part of the culture of
Franklin and where we are. Yeah.
What I think makes Franklin really unique, like from a perspective of our, greater area. And I think that culture is, received in surrounding areas. Like I think Nashville likes that culture, and we were seeing that like more and more people coming here and
from Nashville too.
Yeah.
Moving from Nashville. Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah. Wow. I love that.
The more it goes back to what you were saying, babe. Like the mouthfeel on this, like it just kind of keeps giving me things. You know what I mean? It's like the tongue. I'm comparing it to wine, but it's just like there's so much going on flavor wise. It's really enjoyable.
Cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, and I love your like thoughts of like taking it like you have a mentality of like these things have been done for generations and hundreds of years. Like these beers are being made, and like the farmers and the people, and like you're like I want to keep that kind of ancestry of things, and I feel like when we meet people that like really care about a product, that's really important to them, to keep like the integrity of like those who have gone before us and have made things, and what did they do really, really well, and what am I gonna take what they did and I'm going to bring it into my product. So like, you're not just like, oh, well, screw whatever has been happening for years. No, they did something right. And I'm going to try to make sure like I can keep that like in my product. And I think that is very evident when you drink it. Like you can tell that you've thought like, what is Saison? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
What is Saison? What is this farmhouse ale? Like, how can I really give it justice?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, we're excited of it. I tell people like, I'm proud of it. Like, and I love beer. So, it's definitely something that's super exciting for me. Like, and the response is just as exciting. Like the fact that people are open to trying. I mean, I've had people tell me like, I don't even like beer and I like to drink. Like my mom, dude, like my mom doesn't like beer or really even alcohol. And she probably just like, I don't know if she's like choking it down. It's like, Mom, I've got that
taking one for the team.
I've got that good of a mom though. She's actually a pretty spectacular lady.
She's like, oh, this is good.
But she drinks it all the time.
Oh,
she's
see?
like, yeah. And she's like, but I've heard that from other people too. Like I've brought it into bartenders and they're like, I don't really drink beer, but like, this is great. A lot of people stealing it. Like I'll drop it off to bartenders like, hey, pass it up. Like,
they take it.
Oh, they'll take it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I'm for it, man. I'm just like, yeah, try it. Tell your buddies. So.
Yes.
All right. So where do you see Junction 31 Beer Company going? Like, do you have other, varietals that you want to do, or where do you see?
You're
it
just
going,
really
like,
focusing on this right now.
Next 3 to 5 years, where do you see?
Yeah, I mean,
yourselves?
I want to saturate the market with Farmhouse. Like, I want Old 96 Farmhouse Ale to really like for people to know about it, for people to try it, for it to be available to everybody. Like to really just kind of come into market with this, because like you said, I think you drink it year round.
Yeah.
Like I think it really makes sense from a year-round perspective. So I think there's a place for it. So we're really pushing Old 96. I see that kind of being on the forefront for a while. We might do some fun, like we might still go back and do some smaller, tiny batch, micro batch, blends of it. But I think we're just really at this point trying to commercially scale that, grow it, get it into some more spaces, make it available to the local market. And then eventually we'll come out. So the concept behind the brand of Junction 31 is really just the intersection of roads that meet in Franklin, right? So Old 96 being one of those icons. And that's to me like what makes this place interesting. It's like it's hard to find people from here. Like I feel like a lot of people have moved here, which myself included. But it's cool. It's like just this intersection of like creative talent and cool people, and like that's what makes this community special to me. And like I hope our products like serve that community. So yeah, that's it. And then I think we have seasonal stuff. Like there's a bunch of cool partners that I would love to work with. Like we have really great whiskey being made here in town, like several places. So like, I love Kentucky bourbon beer. So maybe partner with a local liquor company and get some bourbon beer.
Yes.
Like even Leaper's Fork. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. So maybe talk to those guys.
Or Nelson's Greenbrier.
I mean, there's so much fun stuff we could do. I mean, I think that's what's kind of cool about beer too, is the seasonality of it. And I think although this is drinkable year round, like maybe if we did something else, it would be something more towards the winter time.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically.
Okay, I know we talked about.
Oh wait, no, I want to ask one question before you do go into Taylor.
Okay.
So, how's your wife feel about everything? How's she?
Oh my gosh, she's so supportive. She's
That's
amazing.
great.
Yeah, she's amazing. So we have a 16-month-old at home. She's an angel. She's such a delight. But yeah, so Olivia was up here. She was up here. We were bottling. She was down there washing bottles, and she's been so supportive of the whole idea. So, and I'm storing. I've got a cellar because this beer actually gets better with age. So you can actually age this beer up to 2 years, probably a year on the safe side. But so I have a cellar at the house, and we've got beer just like everywhere at the house.
That's awesome.
Like just gear, like all the apparel stuff. Like, it's like the whole back part of the house is turned into my workshop.
Sounds you got an awesome lady.
She's a good woman. Any nurse that, I was like, you're the real hero. It's like what she did through COVID was admirable, to say the least.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Cheers to your wife.
Cheers,
right, cheers.
Olivia. Right?
Cheers. I know.
Yeah. So yeah, we were going to talk to you about your experience at the Taylor Swift concert. You said you just went recently.
We did.
You went with your daughter?
I did. She's 16.
Yeah.
Sweet 16.
So you took her for her 16th birthday.
Yeah. Well, it was Christmas and she was turning 16, and she's like a huge Swiftie, like one of the biggest. Like in the top 0.01% of Spotify listeners.
What?
Not kidding.
Oh my God.
Serious.
How?
It's a major Swiftie.
Okay, so how did you get the tickets, for one? Because they seem hard to come by.
They're little, yeah. So I have a connect. My brother-in-law lives in Chicago.
Gotcha.
And had a corporate connection and hooked us up with Sweet. So I paid like face value because it was insane. Like even face value was like the most expensive concert.
So you weren't like an average person in the stadium. You were like in a suite.
No, I mean we were on the side, like in the first section of the bowl. But,
okay.
We weren't in a suite or anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying to those T-Swift show. I mean, some of those lower section tickets were going for thousands of dollars, man. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
So,
But it was amazing.
it was worth it. I mean, we had so much. It was just like I'm there with my 16-year-old daughter. It was like something she's never gonna forget.
Oh, totally.
Like,
did you know a lot of the lyrics to the songs?
Oh hell yeah! I had done my homework, but I had a new respect for her. Like I had listened to the music kind of just like passively, and then like once I saw her live, I'm like, okay, now I can listen to it with a respect. Like I'm like, this chick is like talented. She's insane.
Right.
She's unbelievable.
Right.
And gorgeous, and like she's just like she's a good role model for kids.
Yeah. Totally.
So
what was your favorite song performance?
Ooh, I listened to the new record a lot, the Midnights a lot. So there was a lot from that album that I liked. They were all good.
So that's like the It's Me Hi. That's right. That's the new album.
Yeah.
Or that how'd the Midnight song go?
I don't know.
I forgot. I don't know.
Matt knows.
Yeah, It's Me. That's
one of them.
That was the main track from it.
I know people are gonna shame us because I don't know all these new songs that I should.
No, there's like Neon. Oh gosh, now you're making me look bad.
Okay, I look bad too. I should know more of them. No, because I've heard a lot of them on the radio, honestly. And then most I see of hers in that Capital One commercial. I see that on a regular basis.
It's so funny.
It is really funny. Where there's like 10 of her. And then her song's playing in the background. But that's the song out of the album that sticks out to me the most. I think they've played it the most on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a huge hit.
I mean, so much of her stuff. We talked about it before, and I'm just like, but I don't know if I could. I think it's different with you and your daughter, and then she's like, obviously the top Swiftie of the world. That's what I mean. Like if I had a daughter that was that into this artist.
Your daughter was crying during the concert?
When I gave her the tickets at Christmas, like Christmas morning, she opens the box, sees the tickets, like literally crying.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Like she was crying.
I love that. So for you to experience that with her was pretty special.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you all got merch. You were telling us you kind of got in the line.
I was like, it's not worth it. I was like, let's go see the opening act because we can either stand in line for 2 hours or go see the opening. And I was like,
and it was just like the leftovers, right? You said it was just like banners and stuff.
Oh, it was crap. But we just grabbed one on the way out. It was fine.
It's like rolling to the 4th of July stand on the morning of 4th of July and all that's left is
I waited an hour at Backstreet Boys last August.
Oh, she would have waited.
Yeah.
You waited an hour in line?
For Backstreet Boys?
For merchandise?
I did.
Wow.
For a Backstreet Boys shirt.
I believe it.
And honestly, though, like it's like one of the most uncomfortable shirts ever. Sorry, Megan, if you're listening to this, but like that shirt is not comfortable. Like it's cute, like looking, but like I don't like love wearing it. It's like kind of like the material is like kind of like,
it's like sandpaper.
Itchy. Yeah, I'm like, why don't they make like soft, nice merch, like soft merch shirts? Because they know that you're going to pay $60 for something that they paid to get done for like a cent, right?
They'll print it on it. I mean, it's just going to sell out no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah. It doesn't even matter. Like they could put it on like, it'd be funny if they even like tested this. Like, let's put it on like the dumbest thing ever and just like see if they buy it.
They would.
People will buy it.
They would buy it.
And they'll pay $30, $40, $50
like, what if they put her face on, like, a cookie? Like, people will buy the cookie, right?
Yeah, they would buy anything. I mean, well, there's, like, secondary markets for all this stuff. Like, I was looking, there's, like, T-shirts you can buy on Etsy that are, like, there's, like, take your daughter to Taylor Swift. Like, it's me. Hi, I'm the dad. It's me. Like, there's secondary.
I'm the dad. It's me.
There's like secondary product. There's people making money like on her.
Oh my god!
I mean, it's endless. So
you know what it's turned into?
What?
You know, Disney World. When you go to Disney World and everybody's created their own T-shirts.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing with Taylor Swift.
Taylor should make a Taylor World.
Like
it is.
Everybody's making their own Taylor Swift shit.
I don't know. It's kind of, I feel like it is a certain age range though. Like your daughter, I think it's like anyone from like 25 to like 15.
Yeah.
Like that range, because I think for me, like she became really popular when it was like, when you sing Tim McGraw. So I remember her from being like, you were trying to be country and then you went pop and you lost me.
Was that like 20 years ago? How long ago?
It was a long time ago. I mean, I feel like she's saying, I mean, she's my age almost. She's 33.
Yeah.
So I think she was about 16 years old when that happened. And I was, around that same age. So I think like, I thought she was this country artist. And then I was like, oh, you're betraying country. So I'm kind of like not into you anymore. But then all these other kids now don't even know her as that. They only know her as a pop artist.
Exactly.
From like 1987 album. That's all they like know her from. So they don't even remember that Taylor Swift.
Right.
They just see this like original, like talking about her boyfriends, being emotional. It's everything a young girl wants to feel. And I think that was such a smart business move for her to make, to switch from this country wannabe kind of maybe Leanne Rimes person to being her own person.
Well, but she tied it together with the songwriting thing because she's like,
she did, but she in real life does not have a country accent.
Well,
like that was all played.
Probably, but who does? I mean, Burl Haggard was from California. Like,
really?
Yeah.
I don't know. That makes me sad to think like, okay, a lot of this is just an act, but I guess maybe it is.
A lot of showbiz is an act. A lot of this is an act.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
sorry.
no!
You're crushing dreams
Willie
right now,
Nelson
Matt.
isn't.
Hell no. He's for real. He's the real deal.
You know that he said, I read an article about this. He left Nashville in the 70s because he said Nashville was turning into something that he didn't want it to be anymore. That was in the 70s.
Well, yeah, but they kind of they had a system that he didn't fit into it. He was like, well, screw you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Texas.
Screw it, I'm bye. I'm gone.
Go. But, I mean, he was available. I mean, but that's what made Willie Willie. You know, it was great for us because, I mean, Texas culture is what my dad's from West Texas. He's from Odessa. I was born in Houston. But so when I was in school, Willie played shows still he would just come through town. Willie was just playing around. So he was fine with that. He just became that Texas outlaw, that Nashville kind of.
I kind of love that.
Well, it's great. I mean, I think it inspired what a lot of the music we hear today. A lot of this newer country has that kind of outlaw vibe to it. I'm excited about what's being made today. I think we have a cool.
That's great.
Country. So.
It's raining.
And good beer.
And good beer. Cheers to good beer.
Do you guys hear it? It's raining.
Yeah. It's pouring.
Yeah, I can hear it in our headphones.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a good time to wrap up.
Yeah. Cheers to...
Wait, I have a song. Because he said, something to be proud of. And I think we should say that Farmhouse Ale is... That's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your head on. You know that song?
There you go.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Cheers.
Cheers again.
Cheers. Junction 31.
Yeah, try this beer. It's so good.
Yes.